What if I told you that your most destructive vices are actually direct messages from God? Carl Jung made a shocking discovery that the church never wanted you to know. There are 6 specific vices that are not sins. They're divine callings in disguise. While you blame yourself and struggle against these patterns, thinking you're being punished, the truth is the complete opposite. Jung discovered that God uses these vices as signals to identify his chosen ones on earth. Each one carries a unique spiritual frequency that only souls destined for extraordinary missions can feel. Have you been battling vices that seem impossible to overcome? Do you feel different from other people, as if you carry a burden no one understands? This is no coincidence. Jung proved these aren't flaws. They're divine codes engraved in your soul even before you were born. Prepare to discover something that will turn your life upside down. These 6 vices might be exactly the proof that you've been chosen for something far greater than you imagine. Have you ever noticed that no matter what you achieve, buy, or experience, there's always this empty feeling inside? This isn't greed or materialism. It's one of the most powerful signs that you've been marked for something extraordinary. Jung understood that chosen souls carry within them a divine restlessness that cannot be satisfied by earthly pleasures. This sacred thirst manifests in different ways. You might find yourself constantly seeking new experiences, always feeling like something is missing, even in your happiest moments. Others mistake this for being ungrateful or never satisfied, but the truth runs much deeper. Your soul recognizes that it belongs to a higher realm, and nothing in this physical world can truly fill that void. The chosen ones often struggle with addictive behaviors, not because they're weak, but because their spirits are desperately searching for something that transcends the material plane. You might find yourself drawn to substances, relationships, or activities that promise fulfillment, only to discover they leave you even emptier than before. This isn't failure. It's your soul rejecting anything that isn't aligned with your divine purpose. Jung observed that this infinite thirst serves a crucial function. It prevents you from becoming comfortable with mediocrity. While others settle for ordinary lives, your inner dissatisfaction pushes you toward growth, transformation, and ultimately, your true calling. The discomfort you feel isn't meant to torture you. It's meant to propel you forward. This restlessness also makes you incredibly sensitive to the spiritual realm. You can sense when something isn't right, when people are being fake, or when situations don't align with truth. Your soul's constant searching has developed a kind of spiritual radar that others lack. This sensitivity often feels like a curse because it makes you aware of things you'd rather not see, but it's actually one of your greatest gifts. The infinite thirst also explains why you might feel disconnected from people around you. They seem content with surface-level conversations and temporary pleasures, while you're always digging deeper, always questioning, always seeking meaning. This isolation isn't a punishment, it's protection. Your soul is being preserved for something greater, and shallow connections would only distract you from your path. Understanding this changes everything about how you view your struggles with satisfaction. Instead of fighting against this feeling, you begin to see it as your internal compass pointing toward your divine mission. The emptiness you feel isn't something to fill with temporary fixes. It's space being held for your true purpose to emerge. Building on that feeling of being different from everyone else, you've probably noticed that you actually crave solitude more than most people. This isn't antisocial behavior or depression. It's another unmistakable mark of the chosen. Jung discovered that God-selected souls require extended periods of isolation to receive divine downloads and process their spiritual assignments. Your need for alone time goes far beyond simple introversion. When you're by yourself, something magical happens. Your mind clears, your intuition sharpens, and you can hear that quiet voice inside that gets drowned out by the noise of daily life. This voice isn't your imagination. It's direct communication from the divine realm, and it can only be heard in silence. The chosen ones often feel guilty about their need for solitude because society teaches us that isolation is unhealthy. Family and friends might pressure you to be more social, to go out more, to stop spending so much time alone. They don't understand that your alone time isn't empty. It's when you do your most important work on a spiritual level. During these quiet moments, you're actually being prepared for your mission. Your consciousness is being expanded, your spiritual gifts are being activated, and you're receiving information that will be crucial for your purpose. Think of it as attending a cosmic university, where the lessons can only be delivered in complete silence and solitude. This explains why you might feel drained after spending too much time with people, even people you love. It's not that you don't care about them. It's that their energy interferes with the spiritual frequencies you're meant to receive. Your soul knows it needs to maintain a clear channel to the divine, and too much human interaction creates static on that channel. Jung also noticed that chosen ones use their solitude differently than others. While most people use alone time to escape or numb themselves, you use it to go deeper into yourself. You think, you reflect, you question everything. This isn't overthinking, it's spiritual processing. You're working through lifetimes of karma and preparing for the work you came here to do. Your periods of isolation also serve as protection. During these times, you're shielded from negative energies and influences that could throw you off your path. God knows that your mission is too important to risk contamination from lower vibrational experiences, so you're guided into solitude when you need to recalibrate. The sacred nature of your alone time also explains why you might feel most creative, inspired, and connected to purpose when you're by yourself. This is when your true self emerges, free from the masks and roles you play for others. In solitude, you remember who you really are and why you're here. Coming out of those sacred moments of solitude, you probably return to the world feeling like you need to fix everything and everyone around you. This overwhelming urge to control situations isn't a character flaw. It's another divine marker that separates you from ordinary people. Jung recognized that chosen souls carry an unconscious awareness of their responsibility for the greater good, which manifests as an almost compulsive need to manage outcomes. You feel responsible for things that aren't technically your responsibility. When your family is struggling, you believe it's your job to solve their problems. When your workplace is chaotic, you feel compelled to step in and organize everything. When you see injustice in the world, you carry the weight of changing it on your shoulders. This isn't ego or a savior complex. It's your soul recognizing its divine assignment to be a healing force in the world. This need for control often creates immense stress in your life. You exhaust yourself trying to manage variables that are beyond human control, and you feel like a failure when things don't go according to your plans. What you don't realize is that this stress is actually strengthening your spiritual muscles. Every time you try to control something and fail, you're learning valuable lessons about surrender and divine timing that you'll need for your mission. The chosen ones often become natural leaders, not because they seek power, but because they can't stand watching things fall apart when they know they could help. You step into leadership roles reluctantly, feeling the burden of responsibility weighing heavily on you. Others might see you as controlling or demanding, but the truth is you're responding to an inner calling to bring order to chaos. This controlling tendency also makes you incredibly reliable. People learn they can count on you because you take ownership of outcomes in ways others don't. While this can be exhausting, it's also developing qualities you'll need when you step into your true purpose. Every project you manage, every crisis you handle, every person you help is training for something much bigger. Your need for control also stems from a deep sensitivity to energy and outcomes. You can feel when things are going wrong before they actually fall apart, and your attempt to control situations is really an attempt to prevent suffering, both yours and others. This prophetic awareness is another gift that comes with being chosen, even though it feels like a curse when you're constantly worried about potential problems. The frustration you feel when you can't control outcomes is actually your soul learning one of its most important lessons, the balance between human effort and divine will. You're being taught that while you must take action and do your part, ultimate control belongs to a higher power. This lesson is crucial because your future mission will require you to act with confidence while trusting in divine timing. Jung understood that this controlling nature would eventually transform into true leadership guided by spiritual wisdom. The same energy you currently use trying to manage small situations will eventually be channeled into managing your divine assignment with grace and effectiveness. Building from that constant struggle to control outcomes, you've probably noticed that your life contains more pain and hardship than seems fair or normal. While others seem to glide through life with minimal challenges, you face one difficult situation after another. This isn't bad luck or divine punishment. It's the most profound sign that you've been chosen for an extraordinary purpose that requires extraordinary preparation. Pain is the chosen soul's greatest teacher. Every heartbreak, every loss, every moment of despair is carefully orchestrated to break down the false parts of your personality and reveal your authentic spiritual power. Jung observed that ordinary people can fulfill ordinary purposes with ordinary experiences, but those destined for greatness must be forged in the fires of suffering. Your pain isn't random. It's precisely designed to develop qualities you'll need for your mission. Financial struggles teach you resourcefulness and compassion for others facing poverty. Relationship betrayals develop your discernment and ability to see through people's masks. Health challenges connect you to your body and teach you about healing. Each form of suffering is actually a specialized training program. By the way, if you're curious to go even deeper and integrate your shadows and light, check out the S.I.M method ebook. It's a concise guide that can help you unlock your inner power in just 5 minutes a day. The link is in the first pinned comment below. The chosen ones often feel like they're being tested constantly, and that's exactly what's happening. Your soul signed up for advanced spiritual training before you were born, and pain is the curriculum. While others learn through books and lectures, you learn through direct experience of life's most challenging lessons. This makes your wisdom deeper and more authentic than knowledge gained through easier paths. This constant pain also serves to keep you humble and connected to human suffering. If your life was easy and comfortable, you might lose touch with the struggles that most people face. Your personal pain creates empathy and understanding that will be essential when you're called to serve others. You can't heal what you haven't experienced yourself. Your relationship with pain is different from others because you instinctively understand its transformative power. While most people try to avoid discomfort at all costs, you've learned to find meaning in your struggles. You look for lessons, seek growth opportunities, and use your pain as fuel for positive change. This wisdom about suffering will be crucial for your future role as a healer or teacher. The intensity of your pain also develops your emotional and spiritual strength. Each time you survive something that should have broken you, your resilience grows. You discover inner resources you didn't know existed and develop an unshakable faith in your ability to overcome challenges. This strength isn't just for your own survival. It's being built so you can help others find their way through their own darkness. Jung recognized that the chosen ones must experience the full spectrum of human emotion and experience to become effective guides for others. Your pain gives you credentials that no amount of study could provide. When you eventually step into your purpose and help others, they'll trust you because they can see in your eyes that you truly understand what suffering means and how to transcend it. Following your journey through necessary pain, you've probably discovered that even your moments of peace are temporary. There's this constant underlying feeling that you should be doing something more, something different, something bigger. This restlessness isn't anxiety or dissatisfaction with your life. It's your soul recognizing that you haven't yet stepped into your true purpose, and it won't let you settle until you do. This divine restlessness manifests in countless ways throughout your life. You might find yourself changing jobs frequently, not because you're flighty or unreliable, but because your spirit knows that conventional career paths aren't meant for you. Each job teaches you something you'll need later, but none of them feel like home because they're just stepping stones to your real work. You probably struggle with making long-term commitments because something inside you knows that your life is going to change dramatically at some point. Friends and family might criticize you for not settling down, for always looking for something else, for never being satisfied with what you have. They don't understand that this restlessness is actually divine guidance keeping you available for your true calling. The chosen ones often feel like they're living someone else's life, going through the motions of normal existence while their souls scream for something authentic. You wake up most mornings with this vague feeling that you're supposed to be somewhere else, doing something else, being someone else. This isn't ingratitude for your current life. It's recognition that your current life is temporary preparation for your real life. This restlessness also shows up in your relationships. You might find yourself drawn to people who challenge you, who push you to grow, who won't let you stay comfortable in stagnant patterns. Peaceful, easy relationships often feel boring to you because your soul craves the friction that promotes growth. You're unconsciously seeking relationships that will prepare you for the intense connections you'll have in your future mission. Your restless nature makes you an excellent student of life. While others find routine comforting, you're constantly seeking new experiences, new knowledge, new perspectives. This isn't superficial curiosity. It's your spirit gathering tools and wisdom from every possible source. Every book you read, every person you meet, every experience you have is adding to your arsenal for your future purpose. The restlessness also prevents you from getting trapped in comfortable mediocrity. Jung observed that many people have potential for greatness, but lose it because they become too comfortable in ordinary circumstances. Your inner agitation serves as protection against this spiritual death. It ensures that you'll keep moving, keep growing, keep searching until you find what you're really looking for. This constant movement and seeking also develops your adaptability and resilience. You learn to thrive in uncertain situations because uncertainty becomes your natural state. While others need stability and predictability to function, you become comfortable with change and comfortable with not knowing what comes next. This flexibility will be essential when you're called to navigate uncharted spiritual territory. Your restlessness often intensifies during periods when you're close to a breakthrough or major life change. It's like your soul can sense that transformation is coming and becomes even more agitated with the status quo. These periods of intense restlessness are actually preparation phases, getting you ready to let go of your current life and embrace something completely new. The eternal nature of this restlessness also serves to keep you connected to the infinite. While others find satisfaction in finite achievements and possessions, your soul remains connected to unlimited possibility. This keeps your vision expanded and prevents you from thinking too small about your potential impact on the world. Understanding this restlessness as divine guidance rather than personal weakness changes everything about how you experience it. Instead of fighting against it or feeling guilty about never being satisfied, you begin to trust it as your internal navigation system guiding you toward your destiny. The discomfort becomes bearable when you understand it's temporary and purposeful. Emerging from that constant restlessness, your mind has probably developed an almost compulsive need to question everything you encounter. This isn't skepticism or negativity. It's one of the most sophisticated spiritual gifts that marks you as chosen. Jung understood that those destined for great missions must be able to see through illusions and uncover hidden truths that others accept without examination. Your questioning nature started early in life. As a child, you probably drove adults crazy with endless why questions that went deeper than typical curiosity. While other children accepted simple answers, you kept digging, sensing that there were layers of truth beneath surface explanations. This wasn't rebellious behavior, it was your awakening consciousness testing the reliability of the information being given to you. This obsessive questioning extends into every area of your adult life. You question religious teachings, even if you consider yourself spiritual or faithful. You question political narratives, regardless of which side presents them. You question social norms, cultural expectations, and popular beliefs. This constant analysis can be exhausting, but it's actually developing your ability to discern truth from manipulation. The chosen ones are natural detectives of reality. Your questioning mind automatically looks for inconsistencies, contradictions, and hidden agendas that others miss or choose to ignore. You can't help but notice when something doesn't add up, when people's words don't match their actions, or when official explanations don't account for all the facts. This makes you excellent at uncovering deception, but it can also make you feel isolated when others don't see what seems obvious to you. Your doubt-everything mentality often creates tension in your relationships. Friends and family might accuse you of being negative, paranoid, or impossible to please because you won't simply accept their viewpoints without evidence. They don't understand that your questioning isn't personal rejection. It's your soul's inability to accept false information. You literally cannot force yourself to believe something that doesn't feel true to you. This questioning nature also makes you an independent thinker who forms opinions based on personal investigation rather than popular consensus. While others follow trends and accept mainstream narratives, you do your own research, draw your own conclusions, and stand by your findings even when they're unpopular. This intellectual independence is crucial preparation for your future role as someone who will need to trust their own wisdom above conventional thinking. Your obsessive questioning also develops your analytical and investigative skills to an exceptional level. You become expert at reading between the lines, recognizing patterns, and connecting dots that others miss. These abilities aren't being developed for casual use. They're being honed because your mission will require you to uncover and reveal important truths that others cannot or will not see. The intensity of your questioning often increases when you encounter systems or institutions that claim authority over others. Your soul instinctively rebels against any attempt to control or limit human consciousness, and you automatically start examining these systems for flaws and weaknesses. This isn't anarchistic behavior, it's your divine nature recognizing and resisting anything that opposes spiritual freedom. Jung noted that the chosen ones must become master questioners because they will eventually be called to challenge existing paradigms and introduce new ways of thinking. Your current practice of questioning everything is training for the day when you'll need to question fundamental assumptions about reality itself. The habits you're developing now will give you the courage to challenge even the most established beliefs when your mission requires it. Your questioning also serves as protection against spiritual deception. As you grow in awareness and power, you'll encounter increasingly sophisticated attempts to mislead or manipulate you. Your well-developed questioning reflex will be your primary defense against false teachers, deceptive opportunities, and spiritual traps that could derail your mission. The obsessive nature of your questioning ensures that you don't stop at surface-level answers. You keep digging until you reach core truths, foundational principles, and ultimate causes. This thorough approach to understanding will be essential when you're working with the deep spiritual and cosmic forces that govern your true purpose. Most importantly, your questioning extends to yourself and your own beliefs and motivations. You constantly examine your own thinking, challenge your own assumptions, and question your own reactions. This self-interrogation develops the self-awareness and humility that will prevent your future power and influence from corrupting your mission. Building from your relentless questioning of reality, you've likely discovered that you carry an almost unbearable sense of responsibility for outcomes that most people would consider completely outside their control. This isn't guilt or codependency. It's your soul recognizing its cosmic assignment to be a guardian and protector of human consciousness and well-being. Jung understood that chosen souls are born with an innate awareness of their role as shepherds of humanity, even before they fully understand what this means. This cosmic responsibility shows up in the smallest details of your daily life. When you see someone struggling, you feel personally responsible for helping them, even if you've never met them before. When you witness injustice or suffering in the news, you feel the weight of it in your chest, as if it's happening to someone you love. When environmental destruction occurs, you feel it as a personal failure, as if you should have somehow prevented it or done more to stop it. Your sense of responsibility extends beyond current events to historical injustices and future possibilities. You might find yourself feeling guilty about tragedies that happened before you were born, or losing sleep over potential disasters that might occur long after you're gone. This isn't mental illness or excessive worry. It's your soul operating from a timeless perspective where all human suffering is interconnected and you are somehow accountable for all of it. This burden often manifests as an overwhelming compulsion to save everyone around you. You exhaust yourself trying to solve other people's problems, often to the detriment of your own well-being. Family members learn to come to you with their crises because they know you'll drop everything to help. Friends dump their emotional baggage on you because they sense your willingness to carry their pain. Strangers find themselves telling you their life stories because something about your energy makes them feel like you'll understand and care. The weight of this cosmic responsibility can be crushing. You lie awake at night, thinking about all the suffering in the world and feeling like you should be doing more to address it. You feel guilty when you take time for yourself because you know there are people somewhere who need help. You struggle with enjoying simple pleasures because you're aware that others are suffering while you're comfortable. This constant awareness of human pain becomes a form of spiritual martyrdom. Jung observed that this sense of cosmic responsibility actually serves several crucial functions in preparing chosen souls for their missions. First, it develops your capacity for unconditional love and compassion. By feeling responsible for everyone, you learn to care about people without expecting anything in return. This selfless love will be essential when you're called to serve humanity in your true capacity. Second, this burden teaches you about the interconnectedness of all existence. While others see themselves as separate individuals, responsible only for their own lives, you experience reality as a web of connections where everyone's well-being affects everyone else. This cosmic perspective will be crucial when you're working with spiritual forces that operate on a universal scale rather than individual level. Third, carrying this responsibility develops your emotional and energetic capacity to hold space for massive amounts of human suffering without being destroyed by it. Each person's pain you absorb and process increases your ability to handle even greater loads of collective trauma. You're essentially being trained to become a spiritual shock absorber for humanity's darkest experiences. The cosmic nature of your responsibility also explains why conventional self-care advice often doesn't work for you. Therapists might tell you to set boundaries and focus on your own needs, but something inside you rebels against this approach because it feels like abandoning your post. Your soul knows that your purpose involves carrying burdens that others cannot handle, and it resists any attempt to shirk this sacred duty. This responsibility often intensifies during major world events or collective traumas. During pandemics, wars, natural disasters, or social upheavals, you feel the collective fear and suffering as if it's your own. You might find yourself physically ill during these times, not because you're weak, but because you're literally absorbing and processing the emotional and spiritual toxins that are poisoning the collective consciousness. Your sense of cosmic responsibility also makes you incredibly sensitive to the moral and ethical dimensions of every situation. You can't ignore the broader implications of seemingly small actions because you understand how individual choices ripple out to affect the whole. This makes you a natural ethical guardian, someone who holds others accountable to higher standards even when it's uncomfortable or unpopular. Understanding this burden as part of your divine assignment rather than personal pathology transforms how you relate to it. Instead of fighting against your sense of responsibility or feeling guilty about caring too much, you begin to see it as evidence of your soul's noble purpose. The weight becomes more bearable when you understand its temporary preparation for a mission that will ultimately help reduce suffering rather than just absorb it. Flowing from that overwhelming sense of cosmic responsibility, you've probably discovered that your most profound suffering often centers around one core wound that seems to define your entire life experience. This isn't just trauma or bad luck. It's what Jung called the sacred wound, a specific form of pain that chosen souls must carry and eventually transform into their greatest source of power and wisdom. Your sacred wound is different from ordinary suffering because it's directly connected to your divine mission. While random pain serves to strengthen and prepare you, your sacred wound is actually the key to understanding why you were chosen and what you're meant to accomplish. The very thing that has caused you the most agony will become the foundation of your ability to heal and transform the world around you. This wound often develops early in your life and becomes a recurring theme that follows you through different relationships, careers, and life phases. You might find yourself repeatedly attracted to situations that reactivate this pain, not because you're masochistic or self-destructive, but because your soul is working to fully understand and integrate this wound so it can be transformed into medicine for others. The sacred wound creates a unique form of empathy and understanding that cannot be developed any other way. If your wound involves abandonment, you become extraordinarily sensitive to others who feel unwanted or rejected. If your wound centers around betrayal, you develop an uncanny ability to help people heal from broken trust. If your wound involves powerlessness, you become a fierce advocate for those who cannot defend themselves. Jung recognized that the sacred wound serves as a portal between the wounded healer and the collective unconscious. Through your personal experience of specific suffering, you gain access to the universal patterns of that same suffering as it appears in all human experience. Your individual pain becomes a gateway to understanding how that pain operates on a collective level and how it can be healed not just in you, but in everyone who experiences it. This wound also develops your spiritual abilities and psychic sensitivity. The areas where you've been most broken often become the areas where you're most intuitive and insightful. Your pain breaks down the normal defenses and barriers that prevent most people from accessing subtle information and spiritual guidance. The cracks in your psychological armor become windows through which divine wisdom can enter. The sacred wound often creates what appears to be a weakness or vulnerability that others might try to exploit or dismiss. You might be told you're too sensitive, too emotional, too affected by things that shouldn't matter. but this apparent weakness is actually your greatest strength in disguise. The same sensitivity that makes you vulnerable to pain also makes you capable of profound healing and transformation. Your relationship with your sacred wound typically goes through several phases throughout your life. Initially, you might try to avoid or numb the pain, seeking ways to escape from the discomfort it creates. Then you might enter a phase of trying to heal or fix the wound, looking for therapies or solutions that will make it go away. Eventually, you reach a phase of acceptance where you stop fighting the wound and begin to understand its purpose. The final phase involves the alchemical transformation where you learn to transmute your wound into wisdom and your pain into power. This doesn't mean the wound disappears or stops hurting entirely. Instead, it means you learn to work with the wound consciously, using your intimate knowledge of this specific form of suffering to help others navigate their own versions of the same pain. The sacred wound also connects you to your spiritual lineage and ancestral healing work. Often the wound you carry is not just personal, but represents patterns of suffering that have been passed down through generations of your family or soul group. By healing this wound in yourself, you're actually healing it backwards and forwards through time, breaking cycles that have affected countless souls. Jung understood that the sacred wound is ultimately about love, specifically, learning to love the parts of yourself and others that are most damaged and difficult to accept. The wound teaches you that true healing doesn't come from fixing or eliminating pain, but from bringing unconditional love to the places where love has been absent or withdrawn. Your sacred wound also serves as a form of spiritual protection. The pain you carry makes you less likely to become arrogant or disconnected from human suffering when you step into your power. Your wound keeps you humble, compassionate, and grounded in the reality of human vulnerability, even as you develop extraordinary abilities to help and heal others. The transformation of your sacred wound into your greatest gift often marks the beginning of your true mission becoming visible in the world. When you reach the point where you can use your deepest pain as a source of healing for others, you've completed a crucial phase of your spiritual development and become ready for the larger work you came here to accomplish.